When Emma Newman discovered she was pregnant, she was ecstatic. With 3 beautiful daughters already in her life, she and her husband Scott were ready to welcome a 4th. But unlike her previous pregnancies, this one would present a problem for the couple. Initially, there was nothing for the family to be concerned about. "I was massive," recalls Emma, "so we didn't think there was anything to be worried about." But the first signs of trouble came when the expectant mother went into labor 4 weeks early. "I started to panic," Emma remembers. But before she could get too stressed about the situation, Emma had to deliver her baby. She knew that her daughter would likely be on the small side due to her premature birth, but nothing could have prepared her for the actual size of her newborn. Weighing just 2 pounds and measuring a minute 25 centimeters, baby Charlotte was abnormally tiny. The cause of her mini frame? Primordial dwarfism, an incredibly rare form of dwarfism which causes the body to develop at a much slower rate. It is thought that there are only 100 cases of the condition in the world, with Charlotte Garside being one. In fact, it is so rare that Charlotte's particular type of the condition didn't even exist until she was born. When Charlotte was first born, she was extremely fragile, her mum, Emma, recalls. "When I first even saw her, all I saw was her face because she had a little pink hat on and she was covered in bubble wrap all the way up to her neck." So fragile was Charlotte, that for days after her birth, her parents weren't even allowed to pick her up. She spent the first 13 weeks of her life in hospital, where she was monitored around the clock by doctors who predicted she wouldn't even make it to her first birthday. At birth, Charlotte was little more developed than a baby born 16 weeks prematurely. Given that babies born within this period only have a 40% chance of survival, the future for Charlotte looked bleak. However, it would appear that doctors underestimated Charlotte, for although she may be small, she has a strength that most fully grown adults couldn't muster. This willpower to live, combined with her parents' continued love, saw Charlotte blossom. But whilst she grew from strength to strength, things weren't easy for Charlotte. Too tiny for ordinary life, Charlotte and her parents had to adjust to doing things a little differently. Her first diaper was the size of a credit card, whilst her pacifier was the size of a dime. She had to be dressed in doll's clothes, and even as a toddler she could only wear clothes intended for newborn babies. In addition, Charlotte has to be fed through a stomach tube to eat, for she is too small to safely swallow and digest solid food. But whilst she may look like a porcelain doll, there is nothing fragile about Charlotte anymore. When people first meet her, they are afraid she might break if they touch her, but she's quite scrappy and doesn't sit still for a second, explains her older sister Chloe. She loves tearing around the house and being thrown in the air. Despite her full-on approach to life, Charlotte still often gets mistaken for a baby, something which upsets her mother. People still call her Baby Charlotte, which riles me something chronic, because she's not a baby, Emma explained. Proof that Charlotte is not a baby comes from the fact that she recently started school. Determined to help her live as ordinary a life as possible, her parents insisted on sending Charlotte to a regular school. But whilst Charlotte made a lot of friends, she had to be transferred to a special school due to the fact that at 5 years old her abilities matched those of a 3-year-old. However, her mum is confident that this won't stop Charlotte from living an ordinary life. She is not the sort of person who'll fade into the background, her mum said at the time. She may be small, but she has a massive personality and wants to do everything a normal 5-year-old does. Unsurprisingly, Charlotte's parents are very proud of her and how far she has come. Life without Charlotte would be very dull, says Emma. Everyone says you look at her, she smiles. You smile back. It's an automatic reaction to smile back because she's just so beautiful. With the life expectancy for someone with Charlotte's condition being roughly 30 years, her parents are determined to see that she experiences as much of life as she can. We've stopped thinking about the what-ifs. Now we're having the best time we can, they say. We certainly wish Charlotte all the best for the future, although it would appear she doesn't need any more luck as she already has plenty.
Please share this video with friends and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stories.